The observatory dome stood silent against the backdrop of towering Douglas firs, its metallic surface reflecting the last rays of sunset. Nathan Reed adjusted his telescope, more out of habit than necessity. After 15 years of studying rare night-blooming flowers, he had his routine down to clockwork. But tonight felt different. The air carried an electric charge he couldn't explain. A flash of light streaked across the sky, too slow for a shooting star, too fast for a satellite. Nathan tracked it through his telescope, watching as it descended in a controlled arc toward the dense forests surrounding his property. The light pulsed with an otherworldly blue glow before disappearing behind the tree-line. Seconds later, a deep boom echoed through the valley. Nathan grabbed his emergency kit and headed into the woods. As a botanist, he'd learned to trust his instincts. Something extraordinary had just happened. The November air bit through his jacket as he followed the trail of broken branches and disturbed earth. Whatever had crashed had cut a path through the forest canopy. He found her in a small clearing, lying motionless beside a crystalline pod that hummed with fading energy. Her form was humanoid but clearly not human. Her skin had a translucent quality that caught the moonlight, creating rainbow refractions across the forest floor. Delicate patterns of bioluminescence traced across her body like constellations. Nathan approached cautiously. "Hello. Can you hear me?" Her eyes opened, revealing irises that swirled with colors he'd never seen before. She tried to move but fell back with a soft cry of pain. Nathan noticed the dark fluid seeping from a gash in her side, not red blood, but something that sparkled like liquid starlight. "Don't move," he said softly, kneeling beside her. "You're hurt." She spoke in a melodic language he couldn't understand, but her expression conveyed both fear and desperation. When she tried to rise again, Nathan gently supported her shoulders. "I have a place nearby where you can rest and heal. Will you let me help you?" She studied his face intently before nodding once. As Nathan helped her stand, he noticed how her skin seemed to pulse with internal light, though it was growing dimmer by the moment. She was weakening. The walk back to his observatory was slow and careful. Nathan noticed how she shivered against the cold. Wherever she came from, it must have been warmer than the Pacific Northwest in autumn. Inside, he helped her to the couch and wrapped her in thermal blankets. "I'm Nathan," he said, pointing to himself. "Nathan Reed." She touched her chest with a graceful gesture. "Luna." Then she added something in her language that made the air vibrate slightly. "Luna," Nathan repeated, smiling. "I'm going to clean that wound now, if you'll let me." She watched with fascination as he gathered first aid supplies. When he began treating her injury, she didn't flinch or pull away. The silvery fluid that served as her blood seemed to respond to his touch, forming crystalline patterns before sealing the wound. As Nathan worked, he couldn't help but notice the intricate markings that covered her skin. They weren't tattoos, but rather seemed to be part of her biological structure, shifting and flowing like aurora borealis. Her presence made his collection of rare flowers seem mundane by comparison. Luna touched his hand, drawing his attention. Her eyes had taken on a deeper hue, and when she spoke again, her words came haltingly in English. "Grateful, am I? Danger follows. Should leave soon." Nathan shook his head. "You're injured and it's freezing outside. Whatever danger you're running from, we'll deal with it after you've recovered." He checked her temperature. Her skin was much cooler than human normal. "Do you need warmth?" She nodded, wrapping the blankets tighter. "My kind, we absorb energy. Starlight best, but any heat helps." Nathan thought quickly, then retrieved several UV growing lamps he used for his rare plants. When he set them up around Luna, her skin began to glow more strongly, the patterns of light flowing more vigorously. "Better?" he asked. "Better," she confirmed, her English improving with each word. "But they will track the energy signature. Cannot stay long." "Who's tracking you?" Luna's expression darkened. "Those who would harvest us." My people's ability to process energy makes us valuable. They see us as resources, not beings. Nathan felt a surge of protective anger. He'd spent his life studying and protecting rare species. The idea that someone would hunt and exploit sentient beings filled him with disgust. "You're safe here," he said firmly. "Rest now. We'll figure out our next steps in the morning." As Luna drifted into sleep, Nathan watched the play of light across her skin. His quiet life of botanical research had just become infinitely more complicated, but looking at the extraordinary being resting on his couch, he knew he wouldn't have it any other way. Outside, the first snow of winter began to fall, covering Luna's crash site and hiding her tracks. But somewhere in the vast darkness above, something was already responding to the energy signature of her pod, changing course, beginning its descent toward Earth. Nathan didn't know it yet, but his decision to help Luna would pull him into an adventure beyond anything he could have imagined. His expertise in protecting rare and delicate life forms would be tested in ways he never expected, and his understanding of life itself would expand beyond the boundaries of Earth's atmosphere. For now, though, he simply adjusted the UV lamps and settled into his chair to keep watch through the night, wondering what stories lay behind the mysterious being who had quite literally fallen into his life. Dawn painted the sky in shades of lavender when Luna first stirred. Nathan had spent the night alternating between watching her and monitoring his instruments for any unusual signals. The UV lamps had done their work, her skin now pulsed with a healthy iridescence, the patterns of light flowing smoothly beneath her translucent surface. "Your energy," she said, her voice clearer than the night before. "It's different from others I've encountered. Calmer." "Why?" Nathan looked up from his notes. "I spend most of my time studying plants. They don't exactly lead exciting lives." He smiled, offering her a glass of water. "How are you feeling?" Luna sat up gracefully, accepting the glass. She studied it before taking a sip, her eyes widening at the sensation. "We have nothing like this on my world. Our sustenance comes purely from energy absorption." She traced a finger along the glass's surface, creating small ripples of light where she touched. "Your planet holds many wonders." "Speaking of wonders," Nathan said, moving closer, "your wound seems to have healed completely." He gestured to her side where the injury had been. The silvery fluid had crystallized into an intricate pattern that matched her skin's natural markings. "Yes. My kind heal quickly when we have sufficient energy." She looked at him intently. "But you haven't asked the questions burning in your mind." "Why?" Nathan sat beside her, careful to maintain a respectful distance. "I figured you'd tell me what you wanted me to know when you were ready. Though I admit, I'm curious about everything, your world, your people, why you're running." Luna's bioluminescent patterns shifted to deeper blues. "Your patience is unexpected. Most beings we encounter demand answers immediately." She stood, moving to the window where the morning sun was breaking through the trees. Her skin seemed to drink in the natural light. "My world orbits a binary star system. We evolved to process various forms of energy directly, storing it within our crystalline matrix." As she spoke, Nathan noticed how the sunlight refracted through her form, creating tiny rainbows that danced across the room. She was breathtakingly beautiful, but in a way that emphasized her otherworldliness. "This ability made us targets," she continued, her voice hardening. "The harvesters discovered us decades ago. At first, they came as traders, offering technology in exchange for small amounts of our stored energy. Then they became greedy." Her patterns darkened with emotion. "They began capturing our people, draining them completely to power their ships and weapons. I was part of a research team studying ways to defend ourselves. When they attacked our facility, I escaped with our findings." Nathan felt his protective instincts surge again. "That's why they're hunting you? For your research?" Luna turned to face him, her eyes swirling with complex emotions. "Partly. But I'm also different from my people. I can store more energy than most, process it more efficiently." The harvesters would see me as a particularly valuable battery. She smiled bitterly. Your Earth term, battery, is apt, though inadequate. Moving on instinct, Nathan stood and approached her. You're not a battery. You're a person, a remarkable one. His hand hovered near hers, not quite touching. I won't let them treat you like a resource. Luna's patterns shifted to warmer hues as she looked at his hand. Slowly, she brought her own up to meet it. Where their skin touched, Nathan felt a gentle tingling sensation, like static electricity but pleasant. Her eyes met his with surprise. Your energy signature. She whispered. It resonates with mine. This is rare, even among my own kind. Her fingers intertwined with his, sending shivers of warmth up his arm. Perhaps this is why I felt drawn to your location when my pod was failing. Nathan found himself lost in the swirling colors of her eyes. The connection between them felt both powerful and delicate, like holding a rare flower that bloomed once a century. What does it mean? He asked softly. It means, Luna said, stepping closer, that together we might be strong enough to face what's coming. Her free hand traced the air near his face, leaving trails of light in its wake. But it also means I've put you in terrible danger. The harvesters will detect our combined energy signature. They'll come. Let them come, Nathan said with quiet determination. I've spent my life protecting rare and beautiful things from those who would destroy them. This is no different. Luna's patterns pulsed with emotion. It's very different. The harvesters have technology beyond your imagination. They've destroyed entire civilizations to fuel their expansion. Then we'll need to be smarter than them. Nathan squeezed her hand gently. Show me your research. Maybe together we can find a way to protect your people, and Earth. Luna studied him for a long moment, her patterns shifting through various hues before settling on a warm gold. You barely know me. Why would you risk everything to help? Nathan thought about the rare flowers in his greenhouse, how each one was unique and irreplaceable. But they were nothing compared to the extraordinary being before him. Because some things are worth protecting, he said simply. And because I don't think you crashed near my observatory by accident. You said our energies resonate, maybe the universe has a plan we don't understand yet. A small smile played across Luna's luminescent features. For a scientist, you have a surprising belief in destiny. I believe in evidence, he replied. And everything I've observed since last night tells me that helping you is the right thing to do. Outside, the morning sun had fully risen, bathing them both in its warm light. Luna's patterns merged with the natural illumination, creating a display more beautiful than any aurora Nathan had ever seen. As they stood there, hands joined, both felt the weight of the choice they were making, to trust, to protect, to face whatever came together. Neither knew that this moment of connection would soon be tested in ways they couldn't imagine. The harvesters were already closer than they realized, and they weren't the only ones who had detected Luna's unique energy signature. Other forces were moving in the darkness between stars, drawn to the unprecedented resonance between a human and one of the crystal people. But for now, in the quiet morning light of Nathan's observatory, two beings from vastly different worlds shared a moment of perfect understanding, their energies harmonizing in a way that defied the cold equations of physics. It was a moment that would change both their lives, and possibly the fate of two worlds, forever. The afternoon sun filtered through the observatory's dome as Luna projected her research findings into the air between them. Tiny points of light danced from her fingertips, forming complex molecular structures that rotated slowly. Nathan watched, mesmerized by both the display and the way her skin seemed to glow brighter when she concentrated. Our cellular structure, Luna explained, manipulating the projection, allows us to store energy in crystalline matrices. The harvesters discovered they could extract and concentrate this energy. Her patterns darkened with remembered pain. The process is fatal for my people. Nathan stepped closer, studying the intricate diagrams. His hand unconsciously found hers, and that now familiar warmth spread between them. The projection flickered, responding to their combined energy. "There's something else," Luna whispered, her fingers tightening around his. "Something I haven't told anyone." The projection shifted, showing a double helix-like structure. "I discovered that under certain conditions, our energy can be shared rather than just extracted. A willing transfer that strengthens both parties." Nathan's pulse quickened as he understood the implications. "That's what's happening between us, isn't it? This resonance?" Luna nodded, her patterns shifting to deep rose hues. "It should be impossible with a non-crystalline being. Yet." She placed her free hand over his heart, sending pleasant shivers through his body. "Your energy patterns are uniquely compatible with mine. It's why the harvesters will be even more determined to find me now. Because if humans and your people could share energy voluntarily," Nathan began, "their entire harvesting empire would crumble," Luna finished. She stepped closer, her luminescence intensifying. "Nathan, I..." A sharp beeping from his monitoring equipment cut her off. They both turned to the screens showing multiple objects entering Earth's atmosphere. Luna's patterns paled. "They're here," she breathed. "Sooner than I expected." She pulled away from Nathan, moving toward the door. "I have to leave. They'll destroy everything to get to me." Nathan caught her arm, feeling that electric connection spark between them. "No. Running isn't the answer." He gestured to her research projection. "You said shared energy makes both parties stronger. So share with me. Let me help you fight them." Luna's eyes widened, swirling with emotion. "The process, it creates an intimate bond. We would be connected in ways that can't be undone. And it could be dangerous for you, no human has ever attempted this." Nathan stepped closer, cupping her luminescent face in his hands. "I'm willing to risk it. For you. For us." The words felt right, even as part of him marveled at how quickly this alien being had become so important to him. Luna's patterns rippled with intense colors as she placed her hands over his. "It requires complete trust. Complete openness." Her voice dropped to a whisper. "Are you sure?" In answer, Nathan leaned forward and pressed his lips to hers. The contact sent waves of energy coursing through both of them. Luna gasped, her light pulsing brightly as she returned the kiss. Where their bodies touched, Nathan felt like he was touching pure starlight, warm, intense, and indescribably beautiful. The energy built between them, Luna's patterns extending to encompass them both. Nathan felt his consciousness expanding, touching hers. He saw her world through her memories, the binary suns casting rainbow light through crystalline cities, the joy of soaring through energy fields with her people, the terror of the harvester's attack. Luna experienced his memories in turn, lonely nights studying the stars, the quiet joy of discovering a new flower species, and now the overwhelming desire to protect her at any cost. Their energies intertwined, strengthening each other, creating something entirely new. When they finally parted, both were breathing heavily. Nathan felt different, more aware, more alive. He could sense the energy flowing around them, could feel Luna's presence like a warm light in his mind. That was. He started. Beautiful, Luna finished, her patterns now matching his own body heat. And more powerful than I imagined. The resonance between us. She touched his chest, where a faint glow now pulsed beneath his skin. You're part of me now. The monitoring equipment beeped again, more urgently. The harvester ships were getting closer. But Nathan no longer felt afraid. With their combined energy, he could sense new possibilities, new ways to fight back. We need to get to your crash site, he said, suddenly understanding. Your pod's energy signature is what they're tracking. We can use that. Luna's eyes lit up as she followed his thoughts through their new connection. Yes, we could create an energy pulse tuned to their ship's frequencies. Overload their systems. But we'll need help. Nathan grabbed his phone. I have a friend at the nearby military research facility. Someone who'll believe us and can get us what we need. Luna's patterns shifted nervously. Can they be trusted? Nathan smiled, taking her hand. Trust what you feel through our bond. You can sense I'm telling the truth. She could, and that still amazed her. This connection between them defied everything she knew about her people's biology. Yet it felt more right than anything she'd ever experienced. They moved quickly, gathering supplies. Through their bond, they could coordinate without speaking, anticipating each other's needs. Nathan felt Luna's knowledge flowing into him, understanding of energy matrices, crystalline structures, and quantum harmonics. In return, she absorbed his knowledge of Earth's technology, already forming plans to combine both world sciences. As they stepped outside into the fading daylight, the sky above them rippled with the atmospheric disturbances of approaching ships. Luna's hand found Nathan's, their energies pulsing in sync. Whatever happens, she said softly, this bond was worth it. You've shown me that there's more to energy than survival, there's love, trust, connection. Nathan squeezed her hand, feeling the truth of her words in every cell of his body. Together, they were about to challenge an empire that spanned galaxies. The odds were overwhelming, but standing there with Luna, their energies intertwined, Nathan had never felt stronger. The harvesters were coming, but they had no idea what they were about to face, the combined power of two beings from different worlds, bound together by something stronger than any force they could harvest. Love, after all, was its own kind of energy, and in the right circumstances, it could change the universe. The military research facility loomed ahead, its perimeter lights cutting through the gathering dusk. Nathan felt Luna's anxiety through their bond as they approached the gate, her patterns shifting to muted blues and grays in an attempt to appear less conspicuous. Dr. Reed, the guard, greeted him, then paused at the sight of Luna. Even with her attempting to dim her natural luminescence, she was clearly not human. Nathan felt a surge of protective instinct. She's with me, he said firmly. We need to see Dr. Jasmine Park immediately. It's a matter of planetary security. Through their bond, Luna sent him a gentle pulse of gratitude. The connection between them had grown stronger with each passing hour, allowing them to share not just energy but emotions, thoughts, and even memories. The intimacy of it was both thrilling and profound. The guard made a call, and minutes later they were being escorted to a secure lab where Dr. Park waited. Jasmine's eyes widened at the sight of Luna, but to her credit, she maintained her composure. When you said it was urgent, Nathan, I didn't expect this. She gestured to Luna's ethereal form. Though it explains some unusual readings we've been getting. We don't have much time, Nathan said, feeling Luna's growing urgency through their bond. There are hostile ships entering Earth's atmosphere. They're hunting her, and they'll destroy anything in their way. Jasmine's scientific skepticism warred with the evidence of her eyes as Luna stepped forward, raising her hand to project the same molecular diagram she'd shown Nathan. Your world is in danger, Luna said softly. The harvesters will not stop until they have what they want. As Luna explained the situation, Nathan felt a sudden spike of alarm through their bond. Through her enhanced senses, he perceived what she did, energy signatures approaching rapidly from multiple directions. They're close, he said, interrupting the explanation. Jasmine, we need access to your quantum field generator. We have a plan, but we'll need more power than we can generate alone. Jasmine looked between them, noting how they moved in perfect synchronization, how their energy patterns seemed to echo each other. The generator is experimental, she warned. We've never pushed it to full capacity. We don't have a choice, Luna said, her patterns intensifying with determination. The harvesters' ships are powered by the stolen life force of my people. But Nathan and I discovered something they never considered. Voluntary energy sharing creates a resonance that can disrupt their systems. Through their connection, Nathan felt Luna's love for her people, her grief for those lost, and her fierce hope that their discovery could save both their worlds. He stepped closer, taking her hand, their combined energy creating visible ripples in the air. Jasmine's scientific curiosity overcame her caution. "The generator's this way. Whatever you're planning, we need to hurry." They followed her through secure corridors to a massive chamber housing the quantum field generator. Luna's patterns brightened with recognition. "This technology, it's similar to what we used in our research facilities. With modifications, it could amplify our resonance frequency." Nathan felt her excitement through their bond, along with a touch of fear. "What aren't you telling me?" he asked silently through their connection. Luna's response came with a wave of emotion. "The amplification could overwhelm your human physiology. This level of energy, no human was meant to channel it." Nathan squeezed her hand, sending back his own determination. "We're already doing things no human was meant to do. I trust you. Trust us." Their silent exchange took only seconds. Jasmine was already powering up the generator, its hum filling the chamber. Through their enhanced senses, Nathan and Luna felt the harvester ships entering the lower atmosphere, their energy signatures distorting the natural field around them. Luna moved to the generator's control panel, her fingers dancing over the controls with impossible speed as she made the necessary modifications. Nathan stood ready, their bond humming with shared purpose. Through their connection, he understood exactly what they needed to do. "Dr. Park," Luna said, her voice urgent, "once we begin, the energy discharge will be extreme. You need to evacuate the facility." Jasmine hesitated only a moment before nodding. She hit the facility's alarm system, then turned to Nathan. "Whatever happens, make it count." As alarms blared and personnel evacuated, Nathan and Luna took their positions on either side of the modified generator. Their hands met across its surface, energy crackling between them. Through their bond, Nathan felt Luna's love wash over him, along with her fear for his safety. Together, he said both aloud and through their connection. "Whatever happens, we face it together." Luna's patterns shifted to deep gold, matching the glow that now emanated from Nathan's skin. As one, they began channeling their combined energy into the generator. The resonance between them grew stronger, amplified by the quantum field until the entire chamber hummed with power. Nathan felt the energy building to impossible levels, his human body struggling to contain it. Luna's consciousness wrapped protectively around his, helping him adapt, showing him how to let the power flow through him rather than overwhelm him. Through their enhanced awareness, they sensed the harvester ships directly overhead. Luna's memories of their cruel efficiency flashed through their shared consciousness, but now those memories were met with Nathan's unwavering determination to protect what he loved. The generator's pitch rose to a fever tone. Energy arced between them, their separate glows merging into a single brilliant light. In that moment, Nathan understood with perfect clarity what Luna's people had always known, that energy was more than just power, it was the fundamental connection between all living things. And in that understanding, he found the strength to channel even more power. Their combined energy reached out through the quantum field, seeking the frequencies Luna had identified in the harvester ships. Nathan felt the moment their resonance touched the stolen energy in those ships, felt the crystalline matrices destabilize as their freely given power overwhelmed the forcefully taken. The chamber filled with blinding light as their energy pulse radiated outward. Through their bond, they felt the harvester ship systems overload, their stolen power turning against them. The ships began falling from the sky, their energy signatures flickering and dying. But the backlash was tremendous. Nathan felt his consciousness starting to fade as the energy rush proved too much for his human form. Luna's presence in his mind turned desperate as she tried to shield him, to draw the dangerous excess power into herself. "Don't you dare leave me," he felt her think/speak through their bond. "You showed me what energy sharing should be. You gave me hope when I had none. Stay with me, Nathan. Stay." Her love poured through their connection, not just emotional but energetic, supporting his failing systems, teaching his cells how to adapt on a fundamental level. Nathan held on to that connection like a lifeline, fighting to stay conscious as their shared power changed him in ways he couldn't comprehend. The light began to fade, the generator's hum dropping to a low pulse. Through their bond, they felt the last harvester ship crash somewhere in the distant mountains. They had won, but at what cost? Nathan opened his eyes to find himself still standing, though changed. His skin now held a faint luminescence of its own, pulsing in perfect rhythm with Luna's patterns. She reached for him across the generator, her touch sending sparks of pleasure and relief through their connection. "You're alive," she breathed. "You're more than alive." Nathan looked at his glowing skin in wonder. "What happened to me?" Luna's patterns shifted to joyful colors. "Your body adapted. The energy, it changed you, made you more like my kind. I've never heard of such a thing being possible." Their bond hummed with shared amazement and joy. Whatever he had become, Nathan knew only that he never wanted to be parted from this extraordinary being who had literally changed his entire existence. Outside, they could hear helicopters approaching, Earth's authorities coming to investigate the fallen ships. But for this moment, they simply held each other, their energies dancing together in a display that rivaled the aurora borealis. Dawn broke over the military facility, painting the sky in colors that Nathan could now perceive in entirely new ways. His transformed body hummed with energy, patterns of light flowing beneath his skin in harmony with Luna's. Through their strengthened bond, he felt her contentment as she absorbed the morning sunlight. "The military's been questioning us for hours," he said, watching her illuminate the room with her joy. "But they still don't really understand what happened." Luna turned to him, her patterns shifting to thoughtful purples. "How could they? What we've discovered, what we've become, it changes everything." She moved closer, threading her fingers through his. Where they touched, their lights merged into stunning new colors. Their bond thrummed with shared pleasure at the contact. Since Nathan's transformation, their connection had grown even deeper. They could share not just thoughts and emotions, but their very essence. Each touch was an exchange of energy that strengthened them both. "Dr. Park's latest tests are fascinating," Luna continued, projecting the results between them. "Your DNA has been fundamentally altered. You're still human, but now you can process and store energy like my people. The first human crystal hybrid." Nathan watched the double helix spinning in the air, noting the new structures that allowed him to share Luna's abilities. "I can feel the difference. It's like seeing in color after a lifetime of black and white." He sent a pulse of affection through their bond. "Though I'm more interested in how it feels when we do this." He pulled her closer, kissing her deeply. Their energies intertwined instantly, creating a feedback loop of pleasure and connection that made the air around them shimmer with light. Luna's patterns blazed with passion as she returned the kiss, their shared essence creating displays of color that would have put any nebula to shame. "The harvester ships have been contained," Nathan said when they finally parted, both glowing brighter from the exchange. "But we found something interesting in their databases. You weren't the only one who escaped the research facility that day." Luna's patterns shifted to surprised yellows. "Others survived?" Nathan nodded, projecting the information they'd recovered. "A small group made it to a system about 30 light-years from here. They've been hiding, trying to find a way to fight back." He felt her hope surge through their bond. "With what we've discovered about energy sharing, we could help them. Show them there's another way." "It would mean leaving Earth," Luna said softly, touching his luminescent skin. "Your world, your work." Nathan smiled, sending reassurance through their connection. "My work was about understanding and protecting unique forms of life. What better way to continue that than helping your people?" He brushed a strand of her starlight hair back. "Besides, my home is with you now. Wherever that takes us." Luna's patterns shifted to deep rose, her equivalent of a blush. Through their bond, Nathan felt her love for him, still amazed by how completely this human had changed her understanding of connection and energy sharing. "There's something else," she said, her patterns dancing with excitement. "Dr. Park's analysis of our combined energy signature suggests that what happened to you wasn't just random adaptation. The resonance between us, it was there from the beginning, waiting to be awakened." She projected new data, showing energy patterns that looked almost like destiny written in light. "There could be others, more humans whose energy signatures are compatible with my people. We could build bridges between our species, end the need for harvesting forever." Nathan absorbed this through their bond, feeling the weight of the possibility. "We'd need to move carefully. Set up proper protocols, ensure both sides are protected." He grinned. "Good thing you've got a xenobotanist who specializes in preserving rare species." Luna's laugh was like chimes in the wind, her joy radiating through their connection. "My people never imagined that salvation would come through voluntary connection rather than forced extraction. Through love rather than power." Her patterns shifted to deep, intimate colors. "You've changed everything, Nathan Reed." "We've changed everything," he corrected, pulling her close again. Together. Their energy patterns synchronized perfectly as they embraced, creating a display visible even to normal human eyes. Through their bond, they began planning their journey, first to Earth's governments to establish diplomatic relations, then to the stars to find Luna's scattered people. They would face challenges, of course. Some humans would fear their connection, and some of Luna's people might resist the idea of sharing energy with another species. But standing there in the morning light, their bodies and souls intertwined in ways that defied conventional physics, they knew they could face anything together. Nathan felt Luna's consciousness brush against his, sharing a vision of their future, crystal cities rebuilt with new understanding, humans and energy beings learning from each other, a galaxy where connection replaced conflict. Their love had already transformed them both, perhaps it could transform their worlds as well. "Ready to change the universe?" he asked, both aloud and through their bond. Luna's patterns shifted to confident gold, matching the glow of his transformed skin. "With you? Always." Hand in hand, they walked out into the morning light, their combined energy creating patterns of impossible beauty in the air around them. They had started as two beings from different worlds, and now they were something entirely new, living proof that the most powerful energy in the universe wasn't something that could be harvested or stolen, but something that had to be freely given and shared. Above them, the sky beckoned with endless possibilities. Their story had begun with a crash landing and a choice to trust, but it would continue among the stars, writing a new chapter in the history of both their species. Whatever challenges awaited them, they would face them as they had faced everything else. Together, their energy and love combined into something greater than either of them had imagined possible. As they prepared for the journey ahead, their patterns pulsed in perfect harmony, a visual representation of the truth they had discovered, that love, like energy, could neither be created nor destroyed, it could only be transformed, shared, and multiplied, illuminating the darkness between stars with its eternal light.